control.
Cool. All right. Well, first off, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate your patience with like bumping this and everything. And last weekend with my wife was delightful. So that was pretty fun. How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, pretty good. How about you?
Not bad. This usually I'd transition into asking you about your music or something like that, but that has to wait a moment. We have to talk about this Blood Moon video that's blowing me up. Like, it's so fucking good. Like, I don't know why no one sent it to me sooner. It's so good. It's so great. Like, how did you end up stumbling over it, and why didn't you share it with me?
I don't know. We were both fans of Chelsea Wolfe, and I don't know anything about this band, Converge. It's like the first I've heard of them.
Just starting to learn about them, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it just popped up on Facebook and popped up like Release Radar and Spotify, and I was like, oh, what's this? And there's this other song called Coil, which I am having a really hard time getting past that song on the album because I just keep rewinding it, listening to that track over and over again. Well, yeah. It's
all right.
Rad.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm into it. I'm going to have to look into it a lot more. I'm pretty excited about it. Because usually, I mean, you guys are, big fans of music as well, obviously. I mean, you know what it's like to sort of, where a song is going to go kind of right before it gets there, right? It's so fun to me when you don't know how a song's going to go in it, and it surprises you. And that was we'll just use that as a convenient transition. That's one of the things that I found kind of compelling about your music in particular. I've been really enjoying it the past couple of weeks, a couple months actually. Because I think I originally reached out to you guys like quite a while ago, and we both like ended up with stuff going on. But so I just saw that you're playing Terminus Festival. Is that what it's called? I apologize.
Yeah, that is it.
All right, awesome. This is going to be your first show in a while, right?
Our first show outside of our home province in
since 2019?
Yeah, sometime in 2019 we were touring, so it's been a very long time since we left our borders, as is the case with many folks.
Right. Are you guys pretty excited about it? Any sort of I'm sure you're just like got the whole torrent of emotions going on, right? Like the anxiety and excitement all mixed together and everything.
Yeah, well, we played our first show in a long time locally last month. And I was dreading it. Like, I don't know why. I was just equating playing live with our worst shows we've had for some reason.
It's just going to be a bunch of old men betting on horses while they're playing in a corner,
facing the opposite wall or something. Show we had.
Yeah,
but then I forgot. Shows can be really fun too. Like, if lots of people show up and they're having a great time and they're really into it, and that's what it was like. It was like, we started playing it. We had everyone's full attention the entire time, and they're pressed right up against the stage, yelling at us and screaming and dancing. Oh, it was so good.
It was everything you hope for, really.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad it had a happy ending and wasn't terrible. I mean, even when it's just like even just like a handful, 4 to 5 people that are just into it a little bit, like that always seems preferable than a bunch of people like looking at their phones and like, oh, what has this person done? And I do my very best not to ever be that person, right? But so years ago I went to go see Godspeed You Black Emperor in San Francisco. Wonderful show. a bit pretentious. Like they didn't come out and, I mean, that's on brand for them anyway. But, they come out, no, thank you, hello, how are you? Just like they play and leave, and that's it. But the opening person, I don't remember the name, and that's for the best. I wouldn't want to shame any artist, but it's just one of those artists that I couldn't pay attention to. Like he lays down for like 20 minutes and I was like, did he leave? Did he just like start and it was just 30 minutes of noise, and he like laid down for a little while and then he was sitting, and it was really strange. And I was like, I can't pay attention to this. This is too much for me. This is pushing my limits. But anyway, that was like the worst opening act I've ever seen. And anyway, that's not related, but that's my little anecdotal story. But I'm glad that it went really well for you guys. What do you guys have new music that you're working on that's coming out soon, or?
We're still just adjusting to having our album out, I guess.
Right.
A weird release as it was. I mean, typically we would play a bunch of shows, do some touring, and none of that was possible. In June of 2021, we had a release on Facebook, and we've been doing whatever we can online, but it hasn't been your typical album release process. Right. So it kind of feels like it's just out, or it's been out for a long time. It's kind of hard to feel out how we're feeling about it.
Right. Because it just seems like time is kind of passing so quickly that it just.
And there's nothing you can do. It's like, well,
right.
This is we're doing everything we can.
Right. Here's my art. It's alive now, and you can look at it, kind of a thing.
A few more remixes we'll have out that coincide with our current release, and then we'll start thinking about something new. We got some ideas in the works, but
that's fun. Sweet. That's exciting.
Music out there more for the time being.
Yeah, we have a plan of going out to renting a cabin in the woods this winter and bringing a bunch of gear, and just we have some kind of ideas for music that's just kind of a bit more vibe heavy and not a lot of like pre-production programming needs to be done. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
That sounds exciting. Like, what is there any sort of any particular artists or anything that's sort of informing this kind of inspiration, or that has kind of grabbed you to lead you that way?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, no, that's totally fine.
Departure.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of a departure, and I have this idea essentially for a new genre of music.
Okay.
Which I mean sounds really pretentious to say. But essentially taking two very different sounds and kind of putting them together. So I think we're just going to go out and try this and see how it works, and maybe it won't.
I mean, that's possible, and we'll never speak of it again. So that's fine. No, that sounds exciting, and that sounds awesome. I don't think it's pretentious. It runs the risk of it. Like, it's very close to like, I'm going to try to do a genre of music nobody's ever heard before. I can't tell you about it. It's a secret. Like, but that's okay. I'm excited to hear whatever it ends up being. You don't have to disclose how the sausage is made. It's all right. So I have to ask, above your head here, Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. What is that? I don't know the name.
Jaimz.
Well, it's probably it's funny because it's probably the first movie I saw when I was a kid that was terrible, but also really enjoyable. And I think that's like when I discovered that like movies can be bad but also really good at the same time. And
sure.
It kind of changed my life, and I kind of got, obsessed with good, bad movies. And like I always say, the perfect good, bad movie is this really precise recipe of authenticity and ineptitude. And if just this perfect recipe of it. And it's
you just end up
wonderful.
With something wonderful.
Yeah. like sort of this honest idiot kind of a thing. Like, okay.
Yeah, we have this in Winnipeg that we do at the the theater I run called Cream of the Crap, and we watch like good bad movies on VHS,
Right.
and me and some friends will get drunk and rip on them, and kind of just turns into a big party. We have drinking games and stuff. So yeah,
That sounds fun.
started doing this, and then it kind of turned into an obsession. I could kind of show you. I have
Oh wow.
VHS.
Wow.
There's a lot of tapes in here. Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I thought it was like a board game kind of thing. I've got like board games around in my office here. But I love like terrible, shitty horror films, especially like growing up, it was like, go to the video store and it was like $1, to rent, some shitty horror film for a night. And I rented trash, garbage. Like I just was like spending my finite amount of eyeball time like on just, I mean, I was young. I didn't know any better. I was just like watching all this garbage. But oh man, I love terrible horror films. Terrible good, I should say. Like there's a terrible
Yes.
that's just like, this is not worth watching. Shout out in that regard to, have you guys seen Danzig's movie? It's like Verotic or something like that.
Veronica.
Yes.
No, we haven't watched it yet. Kind of been I'm not sure.
No, it's fucking bad. Don't.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I'm not going to sit here and try and persuade you. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of a thing you should see. Like it's fucking not something you should see. Like it is a waste of your time. Like don't watch it. But have you actually seen Velocipaster?
I'm aware of it. I think I can't remember who the director is, but I have some of his other movies, like because he's been making stuff for a long time. Oh,
It looks splendid. I've not watched it, but it's on the list of stuff to watch. Well, that's fascinating. I have posters of good films in my home. That like The Thing, things like that. Undisputed classics. I'm not as cool. I'm not cool enough to have like, oh, this is some obscure film that I didn't even know it was a film. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what you were about to tell me. And I got a little nervous for a second. I'm like, what is it? Like, but I'm relieved. What kind of a film is it even? Is it like a Beastmaster kind of a
sorcery thing?
Yeah, like it's kind of like Beastmaster
Okay.
Kids. It was made by Roger Corman, and I don't know if you know much about him, but he would like cannibalize a lot of other films and use footage. So
Yeah.
they made a film. I think it was only like 16 minutes long. So he's like, just put a bunch of scenes from other movies in it. So there's a lot of like parts in it where it's just like the guy will go, oh look, what's that over there? And then there's just a scene from another movie starts playing, which is part of its like charm. But
And
also,
you saw this as a child?
yeah. Well, I mean, like it's very.
I feel concerned. It seems.
It was also the 80s,
Yeah.
so there was just
All right.
Well, it's true. Yeah.
That's fair. I'll give you that. Okay. All right. All right. So wait. So is this new genre of music? Is it inspired by Wizards of the Lost Kingdom? Is that the secret? You're like, I'm going to try and make a new genre of music, and it's going to be just like these films, where you're just like, what's that over there? And then you just cut in a different song. Is it that?
No.
Okay. All right. I felt like I was really close.
You've just created a new genre
Yeah.
of music.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm full of these ideas all day. Just whatever you need. Well, that's really exciting. I'm excited to hear what you guys end up creating, and I'm gonna have to watch Wizards of the Lost Kingdom, I guess.
Or not.
Yeah, it's very
See, I feel like if it's worth a poster, then I feel like it's probably worth some eyeball time to see it and check it out. Like if it means enough to you to merit, spending money on it, then then I'm gonna spend some time.
12 times in a row once.
No, we watched like I feel like it's crazy to say, but I think we actually watched it 100 times over a weekend.
Oh my god.
We watch it, and then after it was done, we rewind and watch it again. That's what we did for 2 days straight.
Wow.
You were little buds.
Yeah.
When you were like
Maybe
12 or
probably
something.
maybe more like 40. It was like a ridiculous number of times we watched that film.
Sounds too high. sounds like too high of a number. Whatever the number is, it's way too much. I mean, it's like I've only seen in my life Return to Oz. I've only seen that like twice, and that's enough. I don't need to ever revisit it again.
Fine.
It's right, like unnecessarily so. I mean, it's almost as gratuitous to watch now as like rewatching Labyrinth. David Bowie's wonderful. I love that film, but anyway, like his fucking dick. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be graphic, but like it's just. It's so yeah. It's so graphic. Like as a child, I'm like, how did I not see this? Was I just so innocent, so pure? I just didn't like. It's so gratuitous. Anyway, aside from all that, what else do you guys have going on in your personal lives, career lives? Kind of not necessarily the music stuff. Anything cool or exciting that you is springing to mind?
Well, we just I work at a independent movie theater, and we just reopened after being closed for
yeah.
So it's pretty exciting.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Just been navigating kind of this new world, and we had to be very stringent with all of the safety protocols and stuff like that for a while, but now things have calmed down and kind of going back to normal, which is nice. So.
Right. What about you, Karen? Anything cool going on?
I don't know what I can say. Like, I'm a forestry technician, and just fighting the good fight against tree diseases.
No, that I don't know anything about tree diseases. Is that something that's like rampant? That's like
questions about that if you want.
I'll give you very.
I can give
hey. I'm here for it all day. This is not. Yeah, sorry. Spoiler alert. This isn't good PR. Like that you're signed up for here. This is like whatever comes out is what I'm interested in. I want to know about tree diseases. Tell me, like, boil it down to, a couple minutes of just like, this is what I need to know about tree diseases. What is it? Go.
What do you need to know? Sure. A lot of the really terrible things that happen with trees are invasive. So the main take home is that to prevent tree diseases from spreading, the best way is to not transport firewood. If you're ever camping or doing anything with wood that has bark on it, don't buy some wood and then drive it somewhere else, because it could have little bugs in it that are going to kill the trees where you're bringing it to. So I'd say that's the key item for everyone to know.
Holy shit. That's awesome. It was way better than I was expecting. I was how excited can I get about that? But that's interesting. I'm fascinated. I appreciate you telling me. Like, that was good. I feel like, okay, so I feel like you now have to tell me something real rad about like working at this independent movie theater. Like, what's the best thing about it? What makes you happy about it?
Oh man, well, it's hard to talk about without getting dark, but
right.
Yeah,
I mean, aside from watching Wizards of the Lost Kingdom like 100 times in a weekend's pretty dark. I understand that I understand the bottom of the barrel you've been to, so it's okay. Anything is going up from there, right? So what is it about it that you love?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say it's probably just the people I worked with in the community that supports the theater.
Okay.
But yeah, like I was saying getting dark just because the reason I started working there was because the guy who ran it since it opened in the 80s, Dave Barber, passed away a couple months ago. And we've been working together for about 10 years, and became he's one of my best friends. So it's been pretty rough, but it was really nice to reopen the theater. Yeah. We opened it like maybe 3 weeks after he passed away, and you're like
renaming it after him.
Yeah, renaming after him. So that's good. It's really been really nice to see the outpouring of support from people, and just hearing everyone's stories about how much Dave meant to them and how much he changed their lives. Like just, when they were an upcoming filmmaker, and just he gave them that support they needed and that encouragement to keep going. And yeah, he was a wonderful person. So it's really nice to be kind of working in his legacy right now. I think that's my favorite part.
Gotcha. Okay. So like dark, sad, not dark, fun. Okay. Well, I apologize. I don't mean to make light of anything that's painful. That's very sad, but it's good that it's reopening, and it sounds like it's under there are competent people at the wheel. I mean, I'm basing that on just a couple of minutes together, but you seem pretty together. You
Good job.
You've got a dog that you're keeping alive, so I mean, you must be doing something right. So
yeah, she's not a cat.
She likes to come and interrupt.
Oh, it's all good. Mine are. My wife is. Oh no, I guess they've escaped. So mine are in here. I've got Chihuahuas and.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful! That's so beautiful. Here, hang on. Let me grab mine. Come here. Oh, this is the one that like caused so many recording delays because she was like almost dying, but she is quite well now.
Good.
Yeah, she seems well.
My little sweetie.
She's wonderful. She is 13 years old.
Nice. Same with this one.
Yeah, she just
4.5 pounds of just sheer terror. I mean, you'd have to willingly lay on the floor for 24 hours, but she would definitely murder both of you if she could. I mean, you'd have to be pretty willing to let her try, but she'd do it. I mean, she'd find there's a will, there's a way, and she is all will. Yeah. She just doesn't have the way, which is good.
Yeah, that's the Chihuahua.
So since you're are you like super into films as well, Karen, or are you just sort of, is that like his thing?
I'm not into films the way Jaimz is, but I definitely love films, and I've been like the Cinematheque where Jaimz works. I went there all the time before we even met, and yeah, definitely into films. I've made a few films, mostly on Super 8, and Jaimz has made films, and we help each other, and I think that's kind of how we decided that Ghost Twin was the way to go, because we always seem to create our best work when we collaborate. So decided that let's try like music instead of film, because film was our main collaborative medium prior to Ghost Twin.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it was more fun working together too.
Yeah.
Well, and also like
we riff on each other really well.
Yeah, and there's a lot in Canada. You can get some grants to help you go to film festivals and stuff like that. So
we discovered going on free trips.
Yeah, that sounds like the hidden benefit of that cloud. Like that's the silver lining there. Okay, cool. So but you both had like traditional kind of music backgrounds prior to deciding to give it a whirl, right?
Not really.
You did.
I did, but not Jaimz.
Yeah, I don't really have any kind of music background at all.
Okay, so you're just kind of making it up as you go along.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like audio software it's a similar like feel to it as video editing software, so I think it was pretty easy for him to figure it out. And you just loved music, like you love music as much as you love film. Yeah. And so you know the kind of music that you want to hear, and just don't have like the formal musical education, which you could take it or leave it depending on what you want to do. It could be wonderfully helpful, and it can also kind of put you in a box sometimes. So
do you I'd like to ask about that, if you're comfortable answering a couple of questions. Is that something that you feel perhaps a little self-conscious about, or that you is maybe a sore point with the art that you're creating? Do you ever worry that comparing yourself to anybody else is kind of the thief of joy, as Dan Milligan and Teddy Roosevelt would say, right? Like comparing anything you're making to what anybody else is making is always going to kind of rob you of your own feeling of success and gratification. Is that something that you've been trying to grapple with, like in making your music? And you don't have to answer this question. You can tell me to fuck off, and we can talk about Velocipaster or whatever.
I really thought about it. Like it was like it's something like I've always kind of just tinkered with music programs and stuff like that. Like I got a computer. Like I learned how to build computers when I was a teenager. I had the internet before pretty much anybody did. So
yeah,
it's like,
same.
I've always been kind of obsessed with like technology, and so it's pretty easy for me to pick things up. Like I just open up a program and I go, all right, this is what it does, or a synth, and I can figure it out. So it's just like translating. It was more about translating music I hear in my head,
right,
into the programs, which is has become a lot easier lately because I just kind of know how things work now. Like when we first started, you're like, I don't know, I want this note, but I don't know what any of the keys do. But now it's like it's becoming a lot easier to just kind of go, here's the sound. Okay, this is how I play it.
Yeah. And that's something like if you're stuck with like something that's like a musical structure, then we'll work on it together. Because then that's, I know about that. Like I've taken years and years of like piano and classical voice and everything, so I've got that know-how. But you're better at thinking of a sound and making it exist.
Yeah. I've had a lot of success just hearing like kind of a sonic texture and being able to replicate that in reality. And that's gotcha. That's kind of what I bring to it, and then you bring the musical skills, like
right.
we collaborate well.
Yeah,
it's a good
sure.
Right. No, I can appreciate that, and I was curious to know because your story is not so dissimilar from my own. Being a teenager, like going on AOL and I actually met my wife on AOL. I was 14 years old, she was 15. And we've just been best friends ever since. But I never had any like musical training or anything. All I had was computers. So when it came to time to start doing a podcast, I'm like, okay, well, I have to figure out how to do all this shit myself. So like, making graphics and editing and everything. And I used Fruity Loops a lot back in the day, trying to like, do my best attempt at making something. Like it was just like you, I had that like, I hear this thing, but I have no ability to make it come out of me. So I was curious to just sort of hear your answer, hear your thoughts about that, and find out if it was like a sore spot for you, or if you ever felt like worried about it or concerned about it. Because I think there's tremendous value, as Karen kind of indicated, of like, I find there's a lot of value in someone like you or me who's like, well, I hear this, I don't know how to make it come out. And so sort of finding the medium and the tools and putting them together to try and make that happen. I think that's exciting. And I think that's where you end up with a lot of the authenticity, right? Of like someone's making something that's like really genuine, really like they're desperate to get it out, and it's coming out, and it's going to sound like this. So I think that's really cool. And I think there's a lot of value in that too. What do you have any other thoughts about it? Like, what are you?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like coming from a place of authenticity, and that's exciting. And I totally agree with that. But like I there have been, we've been doing this for like 5 years now or more. Six. And
this is whatever time it is.
But really been moments where I've been like, oh, people really like that song. We should try to make more songs like that or something. And every time I've tried to do that, like I stopped years ago. But every time I try to do that, it would just be total shit. Like it would just be, this is not coming from the right place. I'm just trying to make like this vibe, and there needs to be more than just the vibe, So I just now it's just like, our new record's totally different. Just kind of sounding from our last one. I mean, but it still sounds like us. It's just because we're just being ourselves and just what we wanted to play, what we wanted to live in for a bit, and kind of music we like to listen to. So yeah,
right. I absolutely would agree. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Go ahead.
We didn't really pay that much attention to creating a vibe with the album.
Right.
I mean, it could be seen as like a bad thing or a good thing, depending on what you're looking for. But
sure.
We didn't really take that into account, and we're not sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't think you should be. I've been spending some time with your discography, and I absolutely would agree with you that I think the new record is your strongest work so far. I mean, there's the first record has some bangers. I mean, what is it? The name is escaping me. It's long. Saturn Swallows the Sun. That's like your biggest one on Spotify or whatever. Great song, it slaps. say. But but the new record did really stick with me. I found myself, I did listen to everything, but I found myself revisiting that one pretty frequently. Become Control's amazing. Really like Death Note. Illuminati was really great. I really like where you guys are going musically compared to where you started out at. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to what you do next. Even if it is strange, Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I'll check it out. What else? I guess the other question I'm gonna go ahead and put to you both is what are you enjoying right now as far as like music or media or books or what's something that like as soon as you get up you're like, I can't wait to read my book or watch this movie or watch this TV program, or something that's just got you excited? I know we're all dark people who who love depressing music and obscure films, but let's pick something that makes us feel good. So what's like making you feel like jazzed?
It's just totally weird for someone that's kind of goth to say, but I discovered over the pandemic that I really like working on my car. Oh, and okay. Like it just brings me like I get to like this Zen place, makes me so happy, and just like
you were soldering these wires and you like, finished, and you're like, oh, I thought that would take long.
Yeah, like I taught myself how to solder and like stuff like that. Like just like so I did like kind of every time something goes wrong with my car, I'm like, I'm just gonna try to fix it. Or like I wanted to put like a touchscreen radio in my car, and I was like, I'll just do it myself, and I'll figure out how to solder and figure out what all these wires do, and things like that. So it's been very fun.
No, that sounds exciting. Like I was like 30 something years old when I changed a tire for the first time, and I was like, I was ecstatic. I like had to hug my wife. I was like, it was a big moment for me. I was like, I'm a man today. I've changed this tire. Like, you witnessed it. I did it by myself. It was pretty big. So I understand. That sounds exciting. And I love the quantifier of like, it's not very goth. And I was like, oh no, I'm sure it's like, no, it's not.
Not at all.
Yeah, like, oh, doing my own car maintenance. No, it's a bad scene. Well, that's cool. No, that's awesome. What's your next big like project? What car do you drive that you're like stoked about? Like, hopefully it's not like, oh, my 1992 Honda Civic is just my pride and joy. Like it's held together by like old goth stickers and shit, right? Like, but what's your ride here?
No, it's a Honda Civic.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just a sportier one. It's like the EX. So it has like a kind of sportier engine and stuff like that.
Okay. It's not a classic then. Okay, that's good. Oh, it's good. I'm glad you're safe.
It's around throwing my car off or anything,
Now, are you going to make the next step of like, oh, I'm joining a car club, no big deal, and then I don't know what happens in car clubs. It sounds not cool. It sounds something
like those people.
No, I don't think we would really get along.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, they might teach you a thing or two. They might enhance your life a lot, and then you'll be able to do all kinds of things. But all right, Karen, what about you? The bar's high. Like it's
well, yeah, I've been reading about alternate methods in economics.
Holy shit. That's okay.
Theory. This oh man, Kate Raworth. She wrote this book, Donut Economics, which is about like reimagining economic theory. So it's we give up things like gross domestic product, because that's like, it's such a flawed thing. Like forever and ever, exponential growth is not possible.
Sure.
And it's kind of, our system is based on that being the ultimate goal. And we really have to rethink that to fit the like economics into like the reality of our planet and society. So thinking about those kinds of ideas, like fitting like humanity and our economic growth, or maintaining it within like the finite planet, and the making sure that no one gets left behind.
Right.
So
I mean, it sounds way more fascinating when you explain it. But just the opening of like, I've been reading about economic theories, like
sounds so boring. I know.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
About economics, I bring it up. I was camping with my friends, and that was my beach book. They're like, "What are you reading?" Like, so I want to read about economic theory on the beach.
Yeah, well, I mean that's pretty serial killery. Honestly, it's a little. It would make me uncomfortable. I'd be like, "Can you not read that while I'm here?" It's, but I mean, it is fascinating, right? It's really interesting, especially with like everything that's going on with like cryptocurrency, because suddenly you have this thing that's volatile that has value because people say it has value, and it's not controlled by a government, you know, and not yet anyway. But I think it's fascinating. I think now is a great time to be reading about it. Not that I'm like giving you a pat on the back or anything for like reading it. I mean, your time is your own, you know, but yeah. Oh, those ghost twin people, they do strange things with their time. Wizards of the Lost Kingdom, alternate economic theories, you know, they're wild. They're uncontrolled. So, I'm really loving the most recent record, and I'm excited to see what you guys make next, whatever that might end up being. I feel so enriched. I've learned so much about tree disease and, you know, alternate economic theories. I guess the most obvious follow-up question that I have is just, okay, what economic system should we be using? Because I feel like you probably know and have a good answer.
No, I don't really have a good answer. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on that. But yeah, the main things are that we have to make it fit within the finite resources of the planet. So like drilling and using raw materials more and more forever and ever is not possible. And also rethinking that.
You're going to upset a lot of people trying to tell them that.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And all the people and all the other beings, like little dogs and trees and everyone else, can't be left behind and have this huge like disparity of resources, and we can't be hoarding things and stealing, and got to make sure everybody's okay. And that's a tall order. And I don't know if I'm the person to solve all the world's problems, but I like to read about them and try to understand and be able to have an opinion or think about where we might be going. I think a lot about decline, and I'm trying to think more positively by thinking about solutions rather than an inevitable end.
Right. No, I mean, my wife and I are similar. Like those conversations come up a lot. Sitting on my desk here with her like little notes in it. She's like, "Oh, you got to read this part." And I'm just like, "Okay." And like, you know, it's like, you know, bedtime every night. Like we're laying down, getting ready to go to sleep. And she's like, "Let me tell you about the bourgeoisie." And I'm like, "Oh no, like I just want to go to sleep." It's like, here comes the 30 minutes about like why we must destroy capitalism. And it's like being married to a really adorable Karl Marx. But it's I totally am on the level with that, and I absolutely agree with you. Have you guys ever read the book by Daniel Quinn, Ishmael? It's really good. It's just it's written in this sort of like a Plato sort of philosophy sort of a thing. It's mostly just like a conversation from one person to another, but one of these people happens to be a talking gorilla. And right, exactly. You want to laugh and it sounds ridiculous, but it's all about this guy who's like he wants to change the world, and in his 30s he becomes disillusioned. This isn't an autobiography of either of us, I promise. It's but he becomes disillusioned, and then he sees an ad in the paper of looking for a student who wants to change the world, and he goes to this office building, and there's a gorilla, and the gorilla speaks to him and explains the concept of the levers and the takers, and it's very thought-provoking. It's very humble. It's it's not like a super dense book, and there is like the talking gorilla thing you kind of have to overcome a little bit, but it's thought-provoking, and it's really smart. So I would recommend that. It's smart, like I don't know. I'd put it next to like an Animal Farm or like a 1984 or a Brave New World. Something that just is thought-provoking about our existence, I guess. But and that's what I've been enjoying lately. I just bought a new copy of it, so been revisiting it, and it seemed pertinent to economic theory, because I have nothing to contribute about tree disease or Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. You've got me beat on that. I got nothing. So it's but thank you so much for explaining it to me and including me in part of that. Now I feel compelled to watch Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. I will be respectful of you guys this time. I don't have a lot of other questions for you. Is there anything in particular that you've got coming up that you want to discuss or talk about, or anything that's kind of been Ghost Twin related that you've been like, man, I wish somebody would just ask us about this fucking thing, and like they just never do? Is there anything like that hanging around?
We are super excited about Terminus, so really want to, I guess, emphasize that that's happening in February, and it is often a festival, at least in the past, that has been a bit of a destination. Like people, and plane tickets are so cheap right now.
Oh.
If anyone is wanting to like go elsewhere and possibly visit Calgary, Alberta, it'd be a very affordable and fun time, kind of being immersed in that old school feeling goth scene, which is like an atmosphere that's where we met on a goth night, and it seems that we always are like looking for a good goth night, and that's probably going to be like the best in a long time.
Right. Yeah, I just went to the goth night here in Reno last night, and it was a blast. It was so fun to like, get to hang out with people and to mention names that like other people know what it is. Like that's huge. Like being like, oh, I'm not alone. Oh, yeah, let me get this pulled up here. Tickets. Yeah. So tickets for Terminus says over 40% sold. I saw you guys on there, and I saw Actors, which is great. I love those guys. Actors is splendid. Along with Adonis and Reese Fulber, and there's some great talent on here. That's awesome that you guys are going to be playing that. You've played it before, right? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, we played it once live, and then we did their online one last year. Yeah. 2016 was our first Terminus experience, and just excited to like. There's people who go every year, so I'm just really excited to see people I haven't seen in ages, and reconnecting over that. And it's kind of a magical environment there. I don't know why, but yeah, really, really looking forward to that.
Right. I mean, there's kind of the same kind of a situation around stuff like Cold Waves, right? Like that, people go every year, and it's like a big gathering. So that's super exciting. I will definitely make sure to mention that in the episode description and everything. But with that said, I don't really have any other questions for you guys. And again, thank you so much for your time, for not only for, bumping this a couple of times, but also for humoring me and my terrible humor, and and putting up with my questions and everything. Like I said, it's not meant to be like traditional PR, just like, we're outside goth night and we're just having a drink and bullshitting about whatever, about like why you have a fucking Wizards of the Lost Kingdom poster. So cool stuff like that is what I'm into.
Spookies.
Yeah.
Spookies. Oh, wow. I've never heard of it, but the poster is wonderful. It's like so over the top and just like that, like classic cheese. Oh, have you seen what's the one from the 80s? It's it's like Parasite. No, it's the guy has the little like gross alien thing. That what?
Brain Damage.
Yes. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, Brian, you want some of my juice or what?" Oh, that movie is wild. Oh, it's so good. And it's like attached to the sink, and it's like singing a little fucking song. Oh my God. What is that movie even about? I
don't know. It's wonderful though.
It's so fucking wild. It's so good. Or Cronenberg's Society. Like they're just becoming the big mound of flesh. Oh fuck!
Yeah, I've been trying to get Karen to watch that one, and I cannot convince her.
Yeah, maybe not, but
you're missing out. It's pretty great.
All right.
It's pretty. It's an experience. It's worth your eyeball time. We'll put it like that. It's not like Danzig's Veronica. Don't ever watch it. Like if I find out one day, like 5 years down the road, that you're like, oh yeah, I watched that, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like we might not we might get blocked on social media. I don't know. It's pretty grievous. But all right. Well, again, thank you guys both so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.